Hey, I'm Peter, and I recently changed schools because my dad found a job in a different city. I suffer from social anxiety, so the idea of making new friends petrified me. But it got worse. My new school based 50% of their grades on oral participation. Before, I had always been an honor student with top grades all my life because I wanted to go to an elite university someday. But there was no way I'd be able to talk in front of my class. And because I didn't want to become one of the bad students, I came up with a plan. On my first day at my new school, I took in a letter which read, "I'm Peter. I have mutism and several problems with my hearing." I gave it to the teacher, and after he read it, he asked, "Can you hear me?" Of course, I could hear him perfectly, but I acted like I didn't understand him. That's why I leaned forward so that my ear was almost touching his mouth, and when he asked again if I could hear, I nodded. Then he gestured to me to sit down right at the front. I was so nervous. My heart was almost jumping out of my chest. But it was worth it. Everyone believed I was mute and deaf. After that, my teachers only gave me written assignments, and I didn't have to do any PowerPoint presentations or answer questions in front of my class. But there was one problem left. My gym teacher, Mr. Gary. I could tell he didn't believe I was deaf or mute, but of course he still had to treat me respectfully, or otherwise someone could have accused him of mistreating of a retarded person or something. But one day, he crept up behind me and yelled, "Boo!" I jumped and let out a little scream. Afterward, Mr. Gary talked to me inside his office. He said he'd called up my old school and learned that I could speak and hear just fine. That's why he asked why I was faking being mute and deaf. Well, I told him everything about my social anxiety and how I didn't want to fail my classes. Luckily, Mr. Gary turned out to be really cool. He said he'd keep my secret and even told me I was one of the most badass people he knew for pulling this off. Wow, maybe he was right. Maybe I was badass after all. I understand that some people would argue that I should face my fears and practice my communication skills instead of avoiding to speak. But they don't understand that my social anxiety is so bad that there is no way on earth I would raise my arm and speak in front of my class. And this way, instead of getting an F for my oral participation, I'm only graded on my written work. And that's 1,000 times better because it will allow me to go to Stanford or MIT someday. And pretending to be mute and deaf isn't easy either. Imagine someone makes a really funny joke in your class and you have to hold back laughter. It sucks. And it makes you feel very isolated, especially because I can't talk to the other kids in school because I can't risk them telling the teachers that I'm only pretending. But there is one boy who I trusted enough to tell him my secret. You should have seen his face when I told him I could speak perfectly well. My parents know all about it too. I had to tell them because there was a parents' day at school and I couldn't risk them telling my teachers the truth. Luckily, my parents were okay about it. They agreed that my grades were more important than answering questions in class. When they found out why I'd done it, they were really supportive. They didn't know about my social anxiety, so they signed me up for a public speaking course to help me overcome my fears. The first time I went, I broke down in tears when it was my turn to speak. It was so embarrassing. But everyone was really kind, and slowly I'm getting better at talking in front of other people. Maybe one day I'll be able to tell the truth at school, but not yet. Thanks for listening, and please subscribe to this channel.